Today I'm at the thrift store and I'm wondering, do those speakers look like they're made of oak wood? If so, I wonder if they can be repurposed into something other than a speaker. At this time, my creative brain is going bananas, so I go tell my husband what I'm thinking. He's like, I would have never thought of that. Let's try and see if we can't make it work. It could be cool, so we brought him home. Welcome back to A Light Refurbish, where you are reminded through furniture refinishing that there's hope. It doesn't matter how tough things get. Keep watching. Before deciding how much I could do with them, I needed to see what was inside and how they were built. This means that the speakers and the audio crossover need to come out. All you need for this part is a screwdriver or a drill if you have one. I'm gonna share a pic here of some nightstands that I refinished a while back. The shape of these speakers reminded me of something similar to that, but I was thinking something more like an end table with perhaps a shelf inside, so it could be functional. Yesterday, I took one of the speakers apart, cut out the front to try and see if I could make it a little more functional, and instead of just being an end table, have like one shelf inside. The front where the speakers were mounted is made of this really soft plywood. Unfortunately, they built that piece into it, and when I tried to cut it with a jigsaw, I just cannot get it flush enough. I tried using a router, it just doesn't look good enough. We're just gonna stick with some simple end tables, and when I'm done with them, I can promise you, you won't be able to tell that they were once a speaker. So let's do this. I've been refinishing furniture for about 5 years now on a full-time basis, and I know as a fact that people don't want to pay that much for end tables. So to try to keep the costs down today, I'm using this leftover panel that initially cost me $5, measured it and cut it to size. Excuse the leg up there, but I felt like it was safe and it gave me more stability while making the cut. The good news is that I just bought a table saw a couple of days ago, so you won't see me pulling this type of leg move anymore.
I'm gonna let the sun shine in today.
The panels fit, and I had a last-minute idea to trace a circle in the middle. I want some kind of design on the front, but I'm not sure what yet. Should we try some kind of arch design using Spackling Paste? Why not? When it comes to furniture refinishing, you really have to try not to take yourself too seriously and be a little bit adventurous. After applying a thin layer of Spackling Paste, I started playing around with this trowel to apply texture and quickly realized that it was way more dramatic than what I wanted. After smoothing the texture again, I used this spreader to layer the paste. If you ever decide to use Spackling Paste to add texture to your furniture, make sure that you have fun during the process. There's really no rhyme or reason here. The paste doesn't need to be spread as perfectly as the butter on your toast. While the paste dries, I'm gluing pole wrap to the bases to add uniqueness and more interest to these former speakers. If you want to learn more about working and cutting pole wrap, I posted a video a few weeks ago explaining all the details, and that includes this hutch makeover. I'll add the link to this video underneath in case you want to check it out. The reason why I'm taping the pole wrap before I apply glue is to make sure that I have cut down to size enough of it. Once I know I have enough, I start applying the glue. One thing I'm realizing is that I recorded myself clamping the pole wrap to make sure it stayed in place in the wrong format, so I'm just gonna share a little clip with you here. After an hour or so, this glue sets in enough that I can turn around the tables to be able to glue the front panels, and then we're gonna let the glue dry completely overnight. The next morning, I grabbed my Surfprep sander and a 120 grit sheet to scuff sand the tables and make sure that my primer sticks. As for the front frames, they will be sanded down to bare wood since I'm planning to treat them with a color wash.
I'm gonna let the sun shine in today, and I will leave my windows open so that I can hear the sound of people talking and the wind blowing in the trees.
The Surfprep sander also comes with these abrasives that look like a wire mesh. They're a little rougher than the regular sanding sheets, and I like to use them to break down the top layer finish when I'm gonna sand down to bare wood. But sometimes these abrasives can leave some swirl marks, and if that is the case, I use the regular yellow sanding sheets to eliminate any swirl marks. After wiping the tables clean, I apply wood filler not only to all the nicks and dings, but also to the veneer where the edges connected had a few chips across it. Since I want a seamless look, I made sure to cover those up too.
Can see the light. Oh, and I'll try to spread my wings so I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way. I'm gonna let the sun shine in the day.
1 hour later, I came back to sand the wood filler with a 220 grit until it was smooth and got rid of any dust. And since I already had spent so much time breaking my head with these furniture repurposed, I tried saving some time spraying 2 coats of my go-to Bin Shellac white primer. Not before giving it a good shake first and putting on my respirator.
So I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way.
To paint these, I'm using One Step Paint from Amy Howard in the color Linen. This very creamy paint definitely needs a little bit of water to thin it out. I rolled in 2 coats of paint, waiting 1 hour in between coats. To apply a color wash to the front frame, I diluted equal parts of the colors Bauhaus, Java, and water. All you have to do is let it sit for 1 minute and wipe off any excess with a wet rag or lint-free paper towel. The fluted base were treated the same way. To make the raised texture stand out even more, I added the color Bauhaus from Amy Howard, which is a white color using a dry brush technique where you feather a very small amount of paint and then fade it out by dabbing it using a lint-free wet paper towel. Do you remember that Java and Bauhaus mix I did to apply the color wash on the fluted design and on the front frame? I used that as my third and final layer here, applying it the same way. After the paint dried, I glued the wood frame to the front and let it dry. The next day, I loaded my detail finish nozzle from Wagner with crystal clear matte polyurethane from Barathane and applied 3 coats. Let's take a quick look at our former speakers turned into end tables. And this is how they look today. As always, let me know what you think of this repurpose in the comments, and I will see you guys next time.